Whoosh! Good morning, everybody. How are you? It's Friday, and today is Ask Me Anything Friday. My name is TERRI HARDIN. I'm Walt Disney's legendary Imagineer and have appeared in a lot of wonderful films and TV, including the original Ghostbusters, Men in Black 1 and 2, Flintstones. I did Captain EO with Michael Jackson. The list goes on and on and on. Google me. Google TERRI HARDIN, and you can see what all I've been up to. Okay, but it's Ask Me Anything, and right off the bat, did you get to see Captain Kirk actually get to go into space? Did you watch that? What did you think about it? Did you have a good time? Please post in the comments. I was green with envy. I don't envy people very often, but boy, did I envy him. I envied him because he was, famous enough that someone said, hey, come fly with us. And he probably did not have to, he probably did not get billed for it, just because how cool is it to be the first one to put Captain Kirk in actual space after he was responsible, he and Gene Roddenberry and the team of Star Trek, the original Star Trek, back in the day, for us looking into space and getting excited, right? Getting excited and seeing what it really could look like and what it really could be. Star Trek was a really fun thing that helped us sci-fi people get our sci-fi fix. I mean, we were reading it way before that, but who doesn't know Captain Kirk? And if you don't, it was great. And to see him land and just be in tears because it was such an exciting thing for him. This is amazing to me, that you can go up in a rocket that looks phallic. So maybe Branson's if you don't want to fly in a phallic rocket. But I'm not saying anything that isn't already true, guys. But the point is when he landed, he was so happy, and it just is great. So if you watch YouTube, be sure to watch the YouTube where they talk to each individual person. Many said it was all about Bill Shatner, but come on. He is Captain Kirk. So in many cases, they're gonna look to him because it's such an exciting moment in time. And yay, Bezos, good for you. Maybe there's other things that people aren't cheering you about, but that was a real smart thing. I am sorry that he did not say space, the final frontier, or a couple lines that just would have really hit the mark. But that's okay. He was so happy, and we were happy, and we were saying it, of course. But there is a YouTube video that interviews each and every person as to why they invested this money to go up in space. And many of you who watch this channel and watch me and hear from me, you know that my number one bucket list is to see Earth from space. So I have this enormous jar and pray that I won't be 6 feet under before I get to go up in space, because the price tag right now, or that the price tag will come down enough that it's affordable for more people. But we have to be careful. There's a lot of power under those that little capsule that goes up, or the one that Branson has of Virgin. So the price tag is understandable. $150,000 for Bezos and $250,000 for the Virgin version. Oh, I'm starting to sound like Ted Lasso now. But yes, so exciting. So I was envious. I'm not even going to lie. I wish that was me. I wish that I was as well known as William Shatner and someone wanted to give me such a gift, because I don't know what I would do if somebody said, let me take you up, because I know this is your dream to see Earth from space. I really never thought that I would have that opportunity. And the reason is because I get terrible motion sickness is what I'm trying to say. I can watch a video game and get motion sick. So I'm very, very sensitive to motion sickness. And I watched the astronauts train. Originally, as a little girl, I wanted to be an astronaut until I watched them train in what they call the vomit comet. And just watching that made me sick. So I remember speaking with an amazing astronaut and friend, Story Musgrave, who is responsible for a lot of heading up captaining. He's captain of many shuttle missions during the space shuttle flights. And he told me everybody gets motion sick, so I should just suck it up. But, wouldn't an astronaut tell you that? Suck it up, kid. Just do it. How bad do you want it? How bad do you want it? Suck it up. Vomit. Keep moving. The problem is the challenge with that is vomit, keep moving. As once I did, I would be like totally messed up. All your body is just like a noodle. You know how it is when you get motion sickness. Those of you who suffer from this ailment, you just don't know if you can go on. You want to go lay down because you feel so woozy and not well. But I would just love. So bottom line is I'm living vicariously for those of you who have 150,000 to drop and go into space, and or 250,000 on the Virgin ship, or if you happen to be Tom Cruise. I mean, let's talk about that one, where he's going to be filming on the space station and flying in the Dragon. Wouldn't I love to do that? But in order to do that, you have to be in good shape. You have to be in seriously good shape. So Tom Cruise we've watched him. And if you've seen that Top Gun preview for the movie when he comes out, you can just see that the man is dedicated. I mean, I personally think he's a touch nuts, but he is when it comes to detail in his films, he really likes to be the one that gets in shape and is ready for it. And even he said that the actors were troopers in this new one because they have a new camera system. And they're flying in these jets, and it's something that I'm like, no, thank you. I love watching him do it in the Top Gun, the next Top Gun. I'll love to see it. I love the original Top Gun, but that is as close as I'm going to get, is to watch Tom Cruise. I won't be envious of him flying the plane, but I am envious that he gets to fly in the Dragon up to the space station to shoot a movie. I just think that is the coolest thing ever. And I'll be watching because of that. God did take care of me, though. And those of us who have motion sickness, they created, all of a sudden we got to stream the NASA channel. And often when I am working, I have Earth from Space as shot from the space station, so I can pretend that I'm in the space station having this experience. So the blessing is that there are ways that for those of us who are not sure we're going to achieve that dream, that is my reach for the stars dream, is to do that. So goody, goody, goody. But I also said, where's Waldo? Or basically, where the heck am I? Where am I going to be? This is October, and oh my goodness, I am everywhere. During the pandemic, I did some virtual classes, and many of you attended, and I was so touched and flattered when you did. This year, I offered one. I'm still offering it, actually. One class, October 30th, 5 miles from Disneyland. Okay, I will disclose the address. Once you sign up, it's going to be like a week before. I will disclose where it is, simply because it is a very special place, and I have to be on the QT about where it is. But if you want to be a part of that, you simply go to, I've got some places, there's some things I just want to make sure you're aware of to go to this weekend, next weekend, and the following weekend. May I? Oh, good. Thank you. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is go to, and I'm finding it, so just give me a minute. The first thing you want to do is to go to terrihardin.com and click on events, upcoming events, event schedule. I think it's event schedule. It's event schedule. Click on event schedule. Now, first of all, the virtual class says October 23rd. That is incorrect. It is Friday, October 22nd. And so if you want to do it, it's Friday, October 22nd, and it's going to be at 1 p.m. Pacific time. This is because a lot of the people who signed up virtually are out of New York, and they actually decided they'd like to do it in the evening. And so I catered to them. And they'll be able to put a light in their pumpkin and see what it looks like right away. So that's going to be very exciting for us to be able to do that. So if you want to do the virtual class, you just aren't in the area, or it's a little better for your budget, there you go. Okay. But I'm also, you'll see a live class on October 30th, and we still have spots available. We still have spots available in Anaheim. So you can make a day of it. You can actually make an appointment to be at Disneyland. Maybe you go on Friday and then Saturday you finish with the class. Or maybe Saturday you do the class and Saturday evening you do a downtown Disney or whatever. But you guys know how to do this. You've got this. You can figure out how you want to do it. So take a look if you want to sculpt the pumpkin live. I'm right there next to you. Full day if you want to spend the full day. We're going to have eats. We're going to have yummy stuff. We're going to have, I supply the pumpkin. You get to play with the tools. This is what you cannot do in the virtual class because I can't reach through. We haven't quite figured out how to teleport yet. So this one, I provide the pumpkin. I provide tools for you to practice with. Then if you decide you really are loving it and feeling good about it, you can buy the DVD tool set combination, which I will have for a special sale there. You'll also be able to get my book, or you can just order it. But the book will be available as well. This is the book. Oh, put it right side up. Giggling Pumpkins. You can tell it's hard. It's stitched, and it's really, really lovely. So if you meet me in person, you will get both signatures. I still have a few of those left. And there's my illustrations. So I will sign it. Lynette, the author, has signed it. I'm the illustrator. And it's $20 if you see me in person. Where can you go this weekend to see me in person and get your book and get it signed? Blah, blah, blah. We're going to say it is the Walt Disney Mansion. Here's where you go, facebook.com/Disney Mansion, to find out about the tickets. So the tickets for the tour are almost sold out, but there are still tickets for Sculpting with Me and the tour, or Sculpting with Me on that day. That is this Sunday, October 17th. October 17th. So October 17th, up in the Hollywood Hills. I've never been to this mansion. Apparently it's amazing, and you're going to really enjoy it. Or you can go to this site, NBCLosAngeles.com, where Alicia Gray Painter did this amazing article about the event that's happening. And she wrote about me, and she included some beautiful pictures. Isn't that sweet of her? She did it as a favor. I mean, she reported on it. Bless her heart. I want to thank her. But it's going to be cool. We can talk outrageous pumpkins. She does call me the author, which I am not. I am the illustrator. But at least you can see. And here are the prices and everything. So you can freeze this if you're watching it later. And there you go. Forgive me for not saying, if you're joining us for the first time, please answer in the comments below. It's basically just taking a peek into my life and learning about stuff and feeling good, basically, is my channel. That's me. I've been working in the industry and been an artist who's been making money since I was 8. And as I mentioned before, I've done films, television. My attractions, which I didn't mention, as a Disney Imagineer, can be seen all over the world and will be here long after I'm gone. So lots of things you can ask me about over here. Lots of things we can talk about over here. But I did want to share these two things for this event that's happening this Sunday. You can come and sculpt with me or just stand and watch. Say hello. I'm there pretty much the whole day. So, I'm there. The first tour is at 10. My class is at 11 to 1. Next tour is at 2, something like that. Anyway, go to facebook.com/Disney Mansion, or check that article at NBCLosAngeles.com, and you'll get to have, all the info is there for you. Okay. Also, and this is, what do we do during Halloween? There's a lot of things happening. Also, Walt's Barn is open in Griffith Park. Absolutely free, I think, right? You go and you might see Bob Gurr. Bob Gurr likes to descend, as do many Imagineers, at the barn. So feel free to pop over there and check it out. I'm sorry I won't be there. I will be there signing my book on the 21st of November. So the next time the barn is open in November, I'll be there signing my book. So $20 when you see me in person. Okay. So you save a couple of bucks when you see me in person. I always do a special discount for when you see me in person. Okay. So yeah. Very cool. It's always just a special thing when you see me in person. So there's that. Also, Descanso Gardens, let me give a shout out to my dear friend, Joseph Yakovic. You may have seen him on one of the seasons of Halloween Wars when they still had pumpkin sculptors. And Joseph is amazing and very talented. And he is doing demos at Descanso Gardens. So if you're in the Southern California area and you love a beautiful garden, and you love pumpkins and pumpkin sculptors, many of them have been brought in from all over to do their thing. At least I think that's what it is. I know Joseph is doing special demos, so I don't know. I think many people have it up, but I don't know if they're demoing. Joseph may be the only one demoing, but he's there until the 22nd. So he's here until the 22nd of October, and I will be going to see him next week. I'm so glad they extended because last week was just crazy for me. I just couldn't get out to the gardens I wanted to. And he demos in the evening, 5 to 10, he told me. But I'll get all the particulars for you and tell you on Monday for sure what's happening with him. But you can see him this weekend, 5 to 10, Saturday and Sunday night. I know he's doing it. I'm just not available to go myself, but he's there. And his work is impeccable. You're going to love it. These are the creme de la creme of pumpkin sculptors that are there. A lot of really great, talented people will be sculpting there. So take a minute to go check it out. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. It's going to be cool. See, I told you there's a lot of stuff happening. So I just want you to be the person, get all of this information before we get to the questions, because I want you to be sure and know what can you do this weekend. There's Descanso Gardens and the barn at Griffith Park on Sunday, and the Disney Storybook Mansion, which I understand is haunted. So how cool would that be to go check that out? Lots going on. Yeah, lots going on. And you saw that I talked to you about the book, the pumpkin sculpting class on the 23rd in Anaheim again. On the 23rd, you can go to the Irvine Park Railroad. That's Irvine Park Railroad, about 10 minutes from Anaheim. And we will be demoing there, and you can get a flyer about the class. But you can see how the class works. I will have DVDs available in case you want to get the tool set and the DVD and learn in private. It is a DVD that really teaches you, and I've got a really good deal on that. And come out and see. I will have, it's not just going to be me. I've got 3 of my alumni students, very talented. One that has been with me since he was 9 years old and has sculpted with me just about every year. I missed out on him sculpting with me last year during the pandemic. But he did bring me one of his own pumpkins, and I sculpted one of his pumpkins that he grew himself. He's a great guy, and they are lovely people, all 3 of them. But all 4 of us are going to be there sculpting from 11 to 3. So, and it might be 10 to 3. It just depends on when we get there, but we're going to be there most of the day. So you can see it, grab a flyer, sign up right there if you want, because I'm not crazy. I want to make sure I get you in the class. There's a few spots left to do the October 30th live pumpkin sculpting class. So you go to TerriHarDin.com, look at event schedule, and you can see what's there, or go to New Book and buy the book. Okay. Or go to Patreon and join Patreon for $5 a month, $60 a year. You can have 2 personal broadcasts just for you and a Zoom call we do every Wednesday. So there you have it. And I just realized that on Monday, I better tell them that there is no Zoom call this coming Wednesday because my Wi-Fi will be down. So they're going to take the whole system down and reboot it here at the house because we are going fiber, which is kind of exciting. So there you have it, right? Okay. Anything else I have to tell you before I move on? I don't think so. We are planning a trick or treat for our neighborhood, and it's going to be a hybrid. So, because of the pandemic, we're not going to be opening up and doing all out. Like, I have a couple people that are, but we're going to keep it a little simple, and we're going to keep it safe because I've got several high risks in my household and friends that are coming over. So we're going to protect everybody, including your kids. And yeah, so there we go, everybody. Let's go to the questions. Thank you for being patient. I did need to tell you that it did take 20 minutes, but it's a busy time. October is the time when the cool stuff is happening. So scary shows on TV. I mean, who doesn't want that? Suspenseful shows on television. Who doesn't want that? Let me talk to you about yesterday, the amazing Mo Kelly, of whom I'm a big fan of, honestly. On KFI, he's a great guy. He's Saturdays and Sundays, and I would love to be on his show. Just as much as I would like to see Earth from space. But Mo Kelly was talking about horror today versus horror when he was a young man. Well, horror today versus horror that I know when I was young is suspense ruled. Now it's a lot of gore, and gore doesn't work. In fact, I think one of the reasons that the A Quiet Place series works so well is because it's quick and it's suspenseful. The minute a noise happens, you know that's not going to be good. And I love that series because of the suspense. What's going to happen? Are they in trouble? Are they going to get, yeah, instead of just blood everywhere, you know? I just love suspense. So The Birds. Suspense means, like the Hitchcock's The Birds, which is one of my favorite, is you're sitting there eating your popcorn and Tippy wakes up and she looks up and she's getting ready to go up into the room, and you're going, no, Tippy, no, no, Tippy, no, over and over again. I mean, I've seen this movie 100 times. I still, no, Tippy, no. You see what I'm saying? Also, the original, Mo Kelly mentioned that he showed some of the movies that scared him when he was a kid, and the kids were like, me. Well, I challenge you, young people who think you don't get scared, to watch the original Body Snatchers 19 with the original with Kevin McCarthy. So that was, I think that movie came out around the 50s, late 50s. The original Body Snatchers. It's in black and white. So you see if you can handle that. Okay, that is a really, really suspenseful, scary movie. But it's the original. It's not the one with. It's the black and white with Kevin McCarthy. See. Let me know what you think about that one. Because it is, it's scary. Yeah. And those are the kind of movies that, and then I like monster movies like Wolfman, Frankenstein, Crawling Eye, Brain from Planet Eris, which are all could be silly, but they were my movies. So, but I love suspense. I'm all about, don't go in there, you know, and you're here behind a blanket eating your popcorn. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? What's going to happen? Which is why Quiet Place and A Quiet Place 2 are so, so good. Because they realized that, they tapped into that, and that's why we love those. You may not, as a young person, have realized that that's what's getting your juices flowing, but it's called suspense, and it's amazing! So check it out. Now is the time. Let's say hi to you, and feel free to ask me any questions you have on your mind, and I'll be happy to answer them. It can be questions about Ghostbusters, because Ghostbusters is coming soon. I also did a little film you may have heard of with David Lynch called Dune, and Dune is about to drop on HBO and HBO Max at the end of this month as well. So people are asking me if I'm going to watch it. Of course, I want to see what it's like. I'm curious, but it's a 3-part series, I think, or something my husband was saying. I don't follow this stuff because I'm working like a crazy person. But in any case, it's going to be cool. It's going to be fun. So let's see what you have to say. Okay. Yay. Bob Burdine. Good morning. It was such a thrill to see Bill go into space, says Connie. Yes, Connie, it really was. It was like, I can't speak for you, Connie, but I do have to speak for me, and I have to say it was like a colleague. I felt it was really close to me going up in there, if that makes sense. I'm a Star Trek purist, so I'm not really into any other of the Star Treks except for the William Shatner and Leonard Nimoy, Kirk Spock thing. I tried to watch the others, but it's just not my taste. I just love them. I have all of the DVDs here because I like to watch things when I like to watch them, so I buy the DVD. Just a hint, little hack there. And I love it. I just love watching them do their thing. I got to meet William Shatner in an unusual circumstance, and so we didn't really get to talk, and I didn't really get to tell him how I liked him because I scared him half to death at 3:00 in the morning. But but it was great to see him and be that close to him. I did get to talk to Leonard Nimoy. Many of you who have Disney Plus have asked me if I've seen Muppets Haunted Mansion, and I really am going to see it. In fact, tomorrow I'm making I'm going to cut out a special amount of time so I can see it. So because my family day cannot be Sunday, so we're going to try and make it tomorrow, but there's lots happening. So October is just crazy, but I will watch it tomorrow. But my point is, Kurt Thatcher is one of the writers or producer, writer. Kurt Thatcher is the amazing myth maker. So, and he's a good friend. And Kurt, he played the punk rocker in episode 4 of the Star Trek films, where Spock, kind of makes him go to sleep. And it's one of my favorite sequences in that series of the movies. And so when I was doing Dinosaurs, the TV show, Not the Mama, Not the Mama, Not the Mama, Kurt Thatcher invited Leonard Nimoy, and Leonard Nimoy and I got to actually sit and chat about the series. And unlike many believe, he wasn't thrilled about being pigeonholed as Spock, but he understood it, and he was grateful for it. So it was great just to tell him how important seeing someone of mixed races was on a series, because I'm mixed. So even though he was human and Vulcan, it was still, to me, he was light-skinned, and he had his challenges of dealing with being, mixed. Because back then, during Star Trek, being African, being a person of color, let me say it that way. I usually say being a Black person, but I think it covers more than that now. Being a person of color and on TV back in those days just didn't exist, unless they were maids or butlers or stuff. And so, like Whoopi Goldberg often quotes in her stand-ups, "Mom, come quick. There's a woman on TV and she ain't no maid," is what Whoopi Goldberg says. When she was a little girl, that's what she said. And that's true. Because, of course, we saw the amazing Lieutenant Uhura, and beautiful, smart. I mean, as a woman, you were excited to see someone like that. So the series hit a lot of levels. The first mixed kiss between a white person and a Black person happened on Star Trek. So it was great, Connie, to see such an icon. And I honestly, as a human being, they say it was difficult. I don't know. I didn't work with him. I don't know. But honestly, he's an icon. And watching him go up into space was joy of all joys. I was so excited. I felt like I was right there next to him, honestly. So be sure to watch, like I said, be sure to watch the YouTube video. And I wish I could attach it. My husband was actually showing it to me yesterday because I was hustling as usual. October, hustle. He showed it to me really quickly, and I'm really about not so much the flight, which I enjoyed, but I wanted to hear about each person, how they felt going into space. And then once they got back, I want to know how they feel. And watching William Shatner get all choked up and teary-eyed was like watching myself. I think I would do the thing. Of course, I think I would be crying while I was up there and crying while I'm coming down, because honestly, it's my number one bucket list thing. And being motion sick, I kind of thinking I don't know that it'll happen. It's not that I don't believe it. It's just that hard to say, right? Hard to say what it's going to be. But keep praying, and would love to go up and do that. So it was great, Connie, wasn't it, to go up vicariously with Bill Shatner. Exciting. Says Catherine. Hello, listening while doing homework. Jessica, well, How sweet of you to do that. Don't let me distract you so you get the answers wrong. Do your homework. Right. Catherine Perry says it would be cool to see the Hatbox Ghost in space. That's an interesting thought. Are you sure the Hatbox cares to go into space? He may not want to. I mean, after all, he waited a long time to get into the Haunted Mansion, didn't he? And isn't that the best thing ever? On the Zoom call with my tribe on Patreon, we got into this huge theory and philosophy about changing Disneyland up, and Walt Disney saying that he embraced change, but we don't think he's embracing it quite the way they're doing at Disneyland. We think that he also was planning on not dying. And so the Haunted Mansion is what I believe Walt would be happy when it comes to change. Okay. So when you first saw the Haunted Mansion, we didn't get to see those beautiful paintings where the heads disappear. So good. So good. That is a change that we embrace and we love. And then the Hatbox Ghost finally getting his place in the Haunted Mansion after years of wanting him there. That was a change that was very, very welcome. The walk through Sleeping Beauty's castle. Tony Baxter went up there. I think originally he was, I don't remember the story. He told it to me. Tony Baxter, the senior VP of Imagineering at the time. He was up there and he knocked down a wall and found a room area with some figures in it that he didn't expect to find. And once he found it, he went down, got the plans, and now you have that amazing walkthrough that you go through that's beyond anything you could possibly imagine. That's another beautiful change. Okay. So I think you should keep the integrity of Walt's vision and do those changes within the confines of that with Disneyland, only Disneyland, because that's where Walt walked. Okay. So you don't want to erase everything that was Walt's vision, because once it's gone, it's gone. And many people want to take their kids to see what this great man envisioned and how he made it happen as a message to what you can do as an artist or someone who's aspiring to write or do whatever. Look, Walt ran into a lot of walls, but he just kept going. He wanted to build in Burbank, California. They said no. He wanted to create a monorail system that was effective in the town of Burbank as well. They said no. But he just kept going and finally found a place, Anaheim, California, that said yes. So that's what you do. You're going to get a lot of no's. George Lucas, lots of no's before Star Wars. But when your vision is your vision, it's strong and you believe in it, a lot of times it explodes and you reap the benefits. George Lucas and Walt Disney, among others. Yeah. So we don't want, in my opinion, you keep Disneyland per Walt's vision, and then you have all these other parks you can do the upgrades. Okay. So I love Star Wars, but I don't think it should have been in the park. Okay. Just my opinion. But Walt Disney World could be the progressive because he never got to go there. Paris progressive, Shanghai progressive, Hong Kong progressive. All of those other parks can be the ones that give you up-to-date attractions. California Adventure can be something you can do up-to-date attractions, but Disneyland should be preserved. And as I've said it before, many of the millennials many of the young people love the nostalgia of the 1950s. They just feed on it. So why not keep it, Tomorrowland the way it was when Walt envisioned it? Put those spaceships back, those rocket ships back up. Go up that gangway like you do as a real astronaut and fly above. That's a change that should never have been done. No offense, but that's what I believe. And then bring back the little flying saucers that as a little girl, if it blew up and it not blew up like, but it took such large computers to create these beautiful little flying saucers that you got to float in. It was just the best ride ever, that it would constantly break down. But now it's a chip. So you could put the chip, it's going to be smaller footprint, and they could create that ride way better than it was before, but keep to the plan. Okay. And it's such a joyful, I wish y'all could ride it because many of you didn't get to ride it. I did. And my parents had to literally pry me out of that little spaceship because you'd hear a pop, pow, and all the floating flying saucers would go, and I just wouldn't get out because I knew eventually it would fix and I could go and float. Oh, it's the coolest thing. If you've ever played air hockey, it's like riding an air hockey puck. It was the best. Not that fast, but you would go forward, you'd go backward, you'd go this way, you'd go this way. It was like being on the Jetsons TV show. You remember that show? Unbelievable. Just my favorite ride ever. Yeah. So that's what I think Disneyland should be. If I was the Imagineer in charge, and this is what Imagineers do and artists do, is they imagine what would the attractions be like if they had control of it. And that's what I would do. I would pull it back into Walt's vision, because there's so many people out there that want to know what that vision is. And it's a great vision. And then it builds its motivation to come see, like you need it. I get that you don't need motivation to go to Disneyland, but it would be nice if you're someone to come to Disneyland and see what Walt saw, walk in Walt's footsteps, and then you go to Walt Disney World and Disneyland Paris and Disneyland and Tokyo Disneyland and et cetera, to see where it goes from there and how the Imagineers built on the vision that was Walt Disney's. You see, so that's my vision. I welcome your comments here on that. If you disagree, I still welcome you putting it in the comments, okay? Just don't get personal with each other. When you disagree, don't get personal. Don't say things like, you jerk, okay? That's unnecessary. That's one of the things about debating that is so poorly done, is that people start to get personal and attack the person, and that's not necessary. Free speech is about free speech. So you have the right to say what you want to say, and I have the right to say, but I'm not going to insult who you are, okay? If we agree to do that, perfect. Okay, what else we got? But yes, Hatbox Ghost in Space, not so sure, but maybe you're closer to the Hatbox Ghost than I am, Catherine. What are you? Let's see. He's going to say it again. What are your thoughts about the impending strike in Hollywood? Oh, I'm so scared. This is a great question, Leo. I'm terrified. I just am terrified. It's a huge move. It scares me. It scares me. But that being said, in many cases of some of these situations, it's almost sweatshop conditions. These people are forced to work so late and not get enough sleep. And what's called the turnaround doesn't happen. And this is very hard on the human body. I can remember when I was doing Ghostbusters that the time for production was tight, and they thought maybe if they worked us 7 days a week, this was when I was building with Billy Butler, not Billy Butler. Sorry, Bill. Sorry, forgive me. The inside of the Marshmallow Man was designed by Bill, and he was inside Bill, and I was on the outside doing face articulation with a few other puppeteers. Okay, let's get that right. Okay, ugh. I've got so many Bills, Johns, Georges, all of this, so forgive me if I had a brain fart, Bill. Anyway, we were told that we were going to do a 7-day week. Well, the thing that a lot of production people don't realize is that the human body starts to get, your production starts to disintegrate. So here's what happens. 1 through 7, you work. But now that following Monday, after that Sunday, becomes 8 to 14 and 16 to 21, et cetera. It wears on your body. You get exhausted. You're tired. You're not getting sleep. And it's dangerous for people on the road, us driving with very little sleep. And many people have died because they wanted to keep their jobs and were forced to work these extra hours. Well, luckily for us, Ghostbusters and the producers and the people in charge at the original Ghostbusters realized that after about 21 days, we were contemplating the sparkle of our sculpting tool. So they would come in and see if we were working, and we were like, wow, this looks cool. Look at how it glints on the light. And not getting stuff done because we were foggy and messed up in our brains and stuff. So they gave us 1 day and 7 to rest. There's a reason the Lord said 1 day and 7 to rest. This is why. We had to have time to sleep, to get laundry done, to get appointments handled. It was just time for us away so we could reset. And they walked around and saw that production had slowed because we were sort of disappearing and falling away until there was just nothing left. And then they gave us a day and 7 to rest and we were better. So I understand this strike, because if you cannot reason with people and say, people are dying, we are human, we cannot recuperate without rest, these long hours are detrimental to not only your production, but to us as human beings, you got to take a different stand. You've got to band together and take a different stand. So if they are, I just wish they would say, okay, let's make an agreement. For actors, the turnaround is 12 hours, and the Screen Actors Guild makes that a very hard rule. And if you violate it for the actors, it's a penalty, a big one. So for below the line, as they call it, the people who are the grips, the gaffers, makeup artists, script women, script people, because you don't have to be a woman to be a script supervisor. Script supervisor, so forgive me for that slip of the tongue. All of those people that make the production just as important and make us all look good as performers and actors, they can have that messed with. And so maybe they agree for a 10-hour turnaround. I mean, okay, maybe you can't give them the 12 like you give an actor, but the 10-hour turnaround, maybe that's what they'd like, or something like that. And if not, you're compensated, because here's what happens. If you violate that turnaround, you have to pay money to the person as an apology. It's in the contracts for Screen Actors Guild. But what you'll find is many of us say, look, it's not about the money. I need the turnaround because I just worked a full day and I need that turnaround. I know your production would like to start earlier, but we need the turnaround. We need the rest. And we would band together and say, we'd rather rest. The money isn't enough. You see what I mean? And this is what these people are saying, Leo. The money isn't enough. I need to protect myself when I'm driving home. Yeah. Not everyone could, these guys can't afford someone to drive them. So that's the thing. So I'm nervous. I'm scared, but I'll back them. As an actor, I'll be right there cheering them on. Yeah. Hi, Joe. Good to see ya. Have you been to the new Hollywood Motion Picture Museum? I really am a member of the Academy Museum. I'm sure it's amazing. But I joined. My husband and I joined because we support that which we believe in. And I just haven't been able to go. Well, 2 reasons, okay? My husband works nights, and most of the gala fun, supercalifragic events at the museum happen in the nighttime because that's when you're all free. So when I get lucky and he's on a day shift, maybe we'll scoot out, and it'll be sometime in November because it's crazy. Oh, which reminds me, I don't have any idea how these 2 things aligned, but if you're new to this channel and you're still watching, this is one of the reasons I think people do is to watch me change lanes in the middle. Ghosts, my hitchhiking ghosts. Yay! Hitchhiking ghosts. And I'm going to go to the spot right now because I want to just remind you guys about this. Let me get to my hitchhiking ghosts. There they are. Okay, here they are, guys. The hitchhiking ghosts. Dare I say, hitchhiking ghosts back on track. Now, hoping there are not any more pandemic type situations that keep me from getting them to you. If you have asked me to have your ghosts by Halloween and you know who you are, I cannot guarantee it if you weren't on this list months ago when I sent it out. You are going to get them finally. They are coming. They're supposed to be To me, keep your fingers crossed, keep your prayers in there. I should be shipping them out next week. Wow. Oh, I'm so excited. And then the rest of you who are waiting for your ghosts, we should be on a proper schedule, which is 5 sets per month. So more coming out in November, more coming out in December, and hopefully we can get them to you as quickly as we can. One of my friends whose wife really wanted it for their anniversary, which happens to be in October, was really freaking out because she wasn't sure that they were going to come in time. And I sweet talked the manufacturer to have them done, and we managed to get. We didn't compromise. See, this is the problem. Okay, guys, I will not compromise on these. Okay, they need to be the quality that I sell, and so I cannot allow any corners to be cut. Okay. So I basically talked with the wife and said, he's going to love these. And he did. Apparently he said he was really glad he wasn't worried. He didn't get over, because the actual ghosts are far better than than these photographs. So they're beautiful. They illuminate, and there they are on your shelf. So you can see that I have designed them in a way that they look like specters on your shelf. So they don't light like a nightlight. They light like a little ghost. So that was the goal. It took 2 years to produce. And then, of course, smart me, or not so smart me, decided to release them during the pandemic. Crazy? You can say that was probably pretty crazy. But luckily, we're back on track. So I want you to know that we'll be talking soon. And if you have ordered a set of ghosts, you can go to my website, terrihardin.com, click on online store, and learn about them. So feel free to do that. I also have pins, Splash Mountain pin, Country Bear pin of Big Al, which is the one I did in the movie Country Bears when I performed. You can get that pin, but you can see pins I have for sale, Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. But you can also see these ghosts, and I have about 5 sets left. So if you want a set, or you want to look at the blacklight set, feel free to look. Great Christmas gifts. And hopefully we can get them to you by Christmas. If not, I'll illustrate a really nice card for you. So it won't cost you extra for that. So there you go. That's what I wanted to share with you. Thank you for asking me about that. I don't know how that collated, Leo, but just things left out there. And like I said, I've answered this question already, because he probably had it in the queue, and then I answered it before. Like, we have that ability, Leo and I. That'll be tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll get to watch that. Today I'm going. A friend of mine from Terry's tribe is actually coming over from her home state to spend time at Disneyland and in Southern California. So we're going to go to dinner tonight. We're going to see each other, and I'm excited. So when you come into town, give me a shout out, and we'll try and connect. Okay. But thank you for the question, Leo. One day you'll be able to reach through the screen. I know. Wouldn't that be great? Here you go. Here, have this. Wouldn't that be nice? Tap it, and we're getting close. It's just phenomenal. It's super, super cool. Favorite monster movie or other Halloween entertainment? A movie I must watch every Halloween is Halloween, and Halloween 2 by Carpenter. Yeah, and The Fog. The Fog is one of my favorite ghost stories ever. And I got to meet John Carpenter years ago, and I said, please, could you do another Fog? And he was like, I don't know if I will. But that movie just blows me away every time I see it. I just love it. It's so scary. It's so, again, suspense, music, bum, 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 bum. Mrs. Cobritz. And oh my God, you're like, so those are more current. And I love supernatural scary. So The Fog is scary, supernatural, as is the Michael Myers and the first 2 Halloweens that John Carpenter did. I just love it. And I watched it enough that if you have seen, how many of you have seen these Halloween movies and remember them really well? If you see the ending of Halloween 1 and you look at the beginning of Halloween 2, you'll notice something is there that wasn't there before. And if you don't know what it is, after Halloween, I'll tell you. But many of you know what it is. And that is cool to see that, because they filmed it same place. So, but then I also go into my scary suspense from the 50s. So Invasion of the Body Snatchers, original. Crawling Eye, original. Fiend Without a Face, original. If you haven't seen these, you need to see these. They're really super cool. Many are very, very scary and fun. And then Summer Silly, The Giant Claw. I often have talked about this movie, The Giant Claw, which is a silly little movie, but the actors play it for real because they thought they were going to get a real monster, and then the monster was silly. If you have a little child and you love monster movies and you don't want to scare your child, The Giant Claw, C-L-A-W, is the movie you want to introduce to your 3 or 4-year-old. It's just hysterical. It's wonderful. Screen it first. Don't take my word for it. As a parent, screen it first. You may have different beliefs than I do, but when I was working for Mattel, this was the movie I told a lot of people who had 3 and 4-year-olds they want to introduce them to the scary movie. This is a great movie. And many came back and said, Terry, that movie is the best because the little kids get just the biggest kick out of the monster. So The Giant Claw. I don't know if you'll be able to stream it, but Google it or look for it in your search and see if you can find it. I would love them to do a DVD of it because I'd love to have it. Love that. Love. Also this Sunday, Outrageous Pumpkins. You may have heard I was a judge on that show, Food Network show. People competing for $25,000 and a killer belt for the right to be the pumpkin master. This weekend is super amazing because they will be going into the round that will determine the finalists, the people that will have an elimination, and will have people going for the $25,000, not this Sunday, but the following Sunday. So this one is 15 pumpkins. They must use 15 pumpkins in the big challenge. So if you want to see something amazing and cool, please check it out. Food Network Sundays, 7 and 10 p.m. Pacific time. 10 and 1 p.m. No, 10 p.m. and 1 a.m. Eastern. Not as good with Eastern as I am Pacific, but that's a great thing for you to see. Okay? All righty then. That should let you know. Yeah. Also, Mad Monster Party is cool, and Nightmare Before Christmas. We always project Nightmare Before Christmas for people to watch as they come and get candy. So, Jeanette says, hello. So happy to be back watching your videos. I do not have unlimited internet where I live. That is so sweet of you to even do that because they're long. I'm going to start to shorten these, okay? Because many of you want to be out and about in the world, and can I blame you? I want to as well. Oh, not yet. I'll finish first. But the point is that, yeah, we want to make sure that you have fun outside because we've worked so hard to be outside. So welcome back, Jeanette. I'm happy to have you. I've heard of Descanso Gardens. I wonder if it's the same place I'm thinking of. Joe, I'm sure it is. Descanso Gardens has some great, they did a Christmas show that my friend Kimberly told me about that I hadn't seen, where they use these beautiful light effects, and it's like, it was beautiful. Walking with her was fun. Being with her was really great as she introduced me to this show. So they do this, I forget what they call it. Usually it's, the Parade of the Pumpkins or something like that. And pumpkin sculptors from all over do these pumpkin things. I really like it to be about the pumpkin itself. So Joe Yakovetic has showed me some of his pumpkins, and they are, of course, likenesses. So he's done sculpted ones of characters So the 3D that you're used to seeing on the show. And then he's done those ones that look like etchings. And when you illuminate them, they kind of have that lantern look, that paper lantern look, which is really pretty. Joseph just does some great stuff. And I hope that when I go see him, it's demoing, because I would love to learn something. I could learn a couple things from him, Every sculptor does things differently. So sculptors, when you are an artist, here's a lesson. Don't be jealous of the other artist and envious of the other artists. Embrace the other artists, because a lot of times I can share techniques that I've learned with my pumpkin sculpting with you and other artists. They'll learn something from me. And then I, in turn, will learn something from them. And that's what makes the art community beautiful, is we share with love and affection. And it's great. If you sit there and you get all upset, you start to be envious, or you think somebody's better than you or whatever, those are emotions that are wasting your time and stopping you from having a good time. Many artists are very generous. You're going to run into a couple that go, no, you can't see this. But I don't know. I haven't run into a lot of those. Okay. So if you've seen Outrageous Pumpkins and you've seen Mark Evan and you've gone to Maniac Pumpkins and seen Mark Evan's work, you know the man is phenomenal. It's just his work is beautiful. And he's busy in October. In fact, I think I could even venture to say he's busy September, October, November. The man is busy, and he has a team of sculptors who are very talented and very, very busy. And so it's you don't have to worry, oh, should I follow him? Well, there's a rivalry. You're creating the rivalry in your head. Mark is a very generous, wonderful human being. And I tried my first pumpkin because of him. I wrote to him and I said, how come you never show me the pumpkin like that you do in the light? I'm sure we've had this conversation before. And he went, well, yeah, I do sometimes. I think that's what he said originally before. I do sometimes. Well, I came to realize that one of the reasons he may be, and this is my theory, the TERRI theory, okay? It's not what Mark said, but it's what my theory was. And that was that when it's in the broad light like this, it doesn't look, here, let me show you. It's not very cute. Would you agree? Talk about it in the comments over here. Would you agree that this is not that attractive like this? So Mark may not show it because people are quick on Instagram, quick on Facebook. Maybe they don't want to see it like this because it will discourage them. So Mark shows it to them in the pretty state, which is this. Look at that. That's the same pumpkin. Isn't that adorable? Can you even imagine that that's the same pumpkin? I mean, come on, guys. Before, after, before, after. Okay? And I really learned a lesson because I had never done this style of pumpkin before. My pumpkins are always three-dimensional. I don't know why Groot is in here. Why is Groot in my pumpkin section? I don't know. Crazy. My stuff is three-dimensional. So if you want to see my crazy stuff, it's three-dimensional. Okay. So there's my three-dimensional pumpkin of my lady. She's about as big as a human head. So it's a small pumpkin. I like to do this emerging bit. This is something I really, really love to do. I just find it fun that it's emerging from the pumpkin. But here she is, and then lit. Okay. Well, Mark said to me that he doesn't really like to light the 3D ones. And Ray Villafane said the same thing. So I love to light my 3D pumpkins. I love to light them. And if you looked at my Instagram page, you saw some of the ones that I have lit that really look cool. I'm trying to see. I guess I didn't put them in the pumpkin section, so I'll have to go back to my library and show you. Let's see if they're in here. Maybe not. Maybe not. Not on this one. If I did it, I promise to show you. But if you go on my Instagram page, you'll see the one that I did for. In fact, while I'm talking with you, I'll try and find it, just because I should. Let's see if I can find it for you. Oh, I don't really need to do that. But, you know, this is the thing about this channel. You get to see me kind of figure out what I'm doing. And if it's something you just are saying to yourself, I'd rather not, well, hey, I get it. So I'm not offended by that. I'm just trying to find my kids here that I did. Here we go. Okay, I'm going to show you a couple that I did. I had these on Instagram. I haven't done this last one, but I will show these to you. Okay, there it is. There we go. There we go. Okay. Just makes it easier to do it that way so I can show you. So here's one that I did. This is of my little dog, Tilly, on a bat. So I did a ghost behind it, but look how pretty that is lit. Why wouldn't you light a pumpkin? I'm not judging them. I'm just like, I like to light the 3D pumpkins. They're cool. How about this one? I did this one for the Ellen show. This is a portrait of Ellen that I did, and then I lit. Doesn't she look pretty lit? Mouth might be a bit bright, but you know. This one I did for Desperate Housewives. Desperate Housewives had a very special party, and it was one of my favorite things. Now, before I show you this one lit, Desperate Housewives criteria when they hired me to do this pumpkin was that they asked me to make it look like the logo. So those of you who remember Desperate Housewives, remember what the logo looked like. So lit, the logo had to look like. So there it is. Isn't that cool? And notice something here. There, look at the dark side of the apple, and then look at the core of the apple with the stem. Okay? That's just a matter of carving away the closer to the light source and then softer as you get out. But they went crazy for this pumpkin. So I can't imagine it not being lit. Okay? I just can't imagine it not being lit. And so what I'm talking about, this was for a True Blood. So this is a vampire biting the neck of an unsuspecting female. And there it is lit. I actually think this one's better lit than not lit. But that's my goal, is to do them so that they can be lit. So when you look at me as a judge on outrageous pumpkins, I may not be sculpting pumpkins 110% of the time, but I do know what I like, and I do know what good quality is. And you don't want two judges that are the same. You want us to be different. And that's why Mark and I complement each other so well, because he does and has his, what he thinks is great. I have what I think is great, and it makes for a great show. So that's what I'm talking about. And finally, here's another one. This is Sweeney Todd, and this is Sweeney with his knife at the throat of Mrs. Lovitz. So there's that one too. So that one has a little bit less light because I like the ominous look of it. And so there you go. So Descanso Gardens has those kind of pumpkins, has the ones that are etched, like many of you do. I want to do more etched ones this year, and I would like to also do jack-o'-lanterns. So, you know, so I've got those that I did, and yeah, they're really just, they're, you can do this, trust me. The haunted mansion is haunted. No, I was saying the Disney Storybook mansion is haunted, according to Mice Chat. They say if you go on the tour, which is this Sunday, it's called the Disney Storybook Mansion. And you go to facebook.com/haunted mansion. No, Disney Mansion. Facebook.com/Disney Mansion, and you'll learn all about it. And this weekend they're having tours. But the tour, this Sunday they're having tours, Joe. And they're almost sold out for the tours, but the pumpkin carving has a few more spaces. Who knows? But come and say hi and buy a book, or, you know, learn about the class, right? I would think that for Halloween, the pumpkin carving would be a dead one. A dead pumpkin? Is that what you're saying? You're so funny. I'd like to hear your thoughts about the move of Disney Imagineers to Florida. Blah. Janetta, you're like, what? Yeah, blah. Yeah. What I can tell you, full disclosure, full truth of my truth, is that they tried this with the animators, and the animators came back to California. And I think that's what's going to happen, is it's going to be like that boomerang from Australia. It'll hover out there for a little while, and it'll come back, because there's a lot more challenges in Florida than low prices. Okay. And this is what I've said to my husband. You don't just look at what money you're going to save, you look at your surroundings. And the humidity is awful there. And there's a lot of things that I don't, I'm not a fan of Florida for. Let me say it that way, because I don't want to dish your town. You guys that live in Florida, you love Florida, right? And you're close to Walt Disney World. And I salute you for that. But it's just not my cup of tea. I just don't have any desire to live in Florida or Texas. I love visiting Texas, and I love visiting y'all in Florida. I just don't want to live there. I just don't want to live there. I really have been born and raised in California, and I want to stay here. I like it here. I love it here. And hopefully when I retire, I just say I'm going to stay here and live here. I love my state. I love my state. Yes, it's got its problems, but all states have problems. I just say my problems are less here. And one of the things that's less here is the humidity. We complain when it's double-digit humidity. We go, ugh, because we just don't like it. Okay. And I'm one of those people. I mean, I get into humidity and I just am a real baby about it. And baby child, as they say in Ted Lasso. Or I never understood the statement women's blouse about it, which is from Downton Abbey. So in any case, I'm that person. When it comes to humidity, I'm just a huge, but you guys are all out there. And that's the best part of Florida, I think, is the people that live out in Florida and in Texas, my friends. So that's the reason I'm going out there. It's because I love to see my friends out there, and you're all out there. So I'm going to go and see you for sure. 1956. Yep. See? Yeah, you got to watch that movie. You're going to love it. You are going to be suspense. You're going to see suspense. Yes, you are. See? Day of the Triffids, another great one. Yeah. Oh, Stephen, what a great. Yes. Do 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 do. Serious, see? I'm not just blowing smoke. I really, really love stuff like that. The original, The Thing, scared me when I was a kid. Yes, that is a scary one too, isn't it? That's one of my husband's favorites. And he really enjoys that one. The classic horror movies are my favorite. The Universal horror films, the 50s monsters, the Hammer films. Yes, the Hammer films are very interesting. Okay, so Joe brings up a very good point. As a little girl, ever since I was very young, I've loved vampires. So I spoke with my friend Chris McCauley, who's an amazing artist, and we chatted about my husband too, about my paperback that I used to carry everywhere with me of Dracula. And Dracula was a blue, sort of a blue, what do they call that? Clip art kind of a thing. It wasn't clip art, but it was a painting using blue, white mustache, high collar, paperback. And it was pulp. I mean, my paperback went everywhere with me. Dracula, though a slow story, was my favorite story until they started doing the Bela Lugosi was my favorite until they started really doing them. And as Joe points out, the Hammer films had Christopher Lee as Dracula. That was always a lot more gory and a lot scarier. And Nosferatu, similar, ugly. They were kind of ugly, creepy vampires. And then Frank Langella comes along in his version of Dracula. And ladies, did you not realize now why a woman would let a vampire bite her? Because of the sexiness of Frank Langella in Dracula. We were all going, a handsome vampire. And then in the case of True Blood, like the pumpkins I showed you, they talked about a vampire being able to have the ability to glam you and to appear very sexy and alluring. So you just, whoever you were, man or woman, would go like this and go, yeah, here's where you want to bite me. So vampires have always fascinated me since I was a kid. I have the Anne Rice first 3 books signed by Anne, and I'm just completely crazy for it. So when I think of Hammer films, and there's so many other Hammer films, okay, I think of that in particular, Joe. But I also like American International films with Vincent Price. You know, Pit and the Pendulum. So good. Dr. Phibes. Oh, I'm crazy for Dr. Phibes. I love Dr. Phibes. Have you guys seen the original Dr. Phibes with Vincent Price? It's so good. You got to check it out. It's good. It's good. Look for the unicorn. Oh my gosh, it is so good. You're gonna go crazy for that one. If not, you can tell me why you didn't like it. But I love it. I love it. I love it. Later Years with Vincent Price, but it's great. It's so good. Oh my goodness. Uh-oh, I'm getting all excited. Forgive me. I just love that movie. Just popping in to say hi, says Ava. Wish everyone a great weekend. Thank you, Ava, for stopping by. We love you, girl. Terry Giggling Pumpkins is a delight. Can hardly wait to read it and read too. A hot cocoa and sugar cookie day. Thank you for your creativity. Connie, I got to tell you, this little book is adorable. My hairdresser said he thought his favorite page was the last page and also the art of it. But it is a lovely book. And when I was on the book tour with the author, Lynette Eklund, I have to tell you that I learned a lot. Speaking of learning something, when you get to the point where you think you know it all, that's the point you might as well dig a 6-foot hole and climb in it, because you don't learn, and you can learn from everybody. And I learned from little kids. A lot of little children opened the book, saw the size of the words, and we said, do you realize that you'd ask the question, do mommy and daddy read to you? And the little child would say, yeah. And would you like to read to mommy and daddy? Do you think this book would be a book you could read to mommy and daddy? And watch their little faces light up. Many people ask me the age range for the book. If you really want to get particular, I'd say maybe 6 and under, 7 and under. But the reality of it is all ages. And I know that people say you can't say this book is for everybody, but it's for kids and kids at heart, seriously. And out here in the Disney world, there's so many kids of heart of so many ages. You can buy it for yourself because you love the art and you are interested in having my first illustrated book that I did that's not Disney. Or you can, it's actually my first illustrated book, period. Okay. So, and it just happens to be not a non-Disney book. But my point is that you can read it to your grandchildren or your kids or to your school, or the kids can read it to you. And that's what's exciting, is that it's simple, sweet, charming. And what I like to say is you'll never look at a butterfly in the same way. You'll look at the butterfly with curiosity and love. If you're someone who already looks at a butterfly, you're going to look at these butterflies a little bit closer, because they might just be, what? Read the book and find out. So it is a darling, charming book. So many people have told us that they love it. And many schools are reaching out and asking us, at least when I was in Indiana, to come and speak to the kids about writing. It inspires young people of all ages, again, of all ages, to write and publish a book. So when I talk about the book as a reading instrument, yeah, 6 and under maybe. But if you like pretty pictures or you collect children's books like I do, I'm 65. So age 5 or 6, this is why when you ask me this question, I tend to hedge a bit, because it's not that I'm hedging. It's just that we have sold it to the whole gambit for a multitude of reasons. So it's wonderful, and it's autographed. So I really, the author, Lynette Eklund, and I believe very strongly this book had to be hardback, because a child is going to look and look and look and look. They might have jelly on their fingers, and you don't want the book to fall apart in a paperback. You just don't want a paperback to fall apart. Okay. And the difference between a hardbound and a paperback is really, really small. And if you buy enough books ahead of time, you can get that price down, that you can give people the quality that they want. And you know how I am about that, don't you? And I'm happy to say so is Lynette. So very exciting. In fact, Lynette just told me that one of our books is on its way to Croatia. So somebody loved it enough that they wanted to send it to a little child in Croatia. And how great is that? Don't let yourself, okay, everyone, those of you who are here today are going to get this magical little tidbit. Don't let yourself be the one that is your biggest wall. Don't let your own beliefs keep you from doing something cool and fun. Just jump through the door and figure it out later, okay? Write if you want to write. draw if you want to draw, sculpt if you want to sculpt, sing if you want to sing, act if you want to act. You know, today with social media, you post it or you don't, okay? Do it privately and then post it. You don't have to jump in front of everyone and make yourself look silly if you're uncomfortable with looking silly. Some people don't mind looking silly. I don't mind looking silly. I mean, you've seen today that I'm not the most savvy when it comes to cutting cameras or doing things like this. I don't have this, you know, I'm not supercalifragilistic, but I do realize that nothing is perfect, especially myself. And no offense, but you're not either. And this is what you should be embracing. Don't be too much of a perfectionist, because a lot of times perfectionists just don't get stuff done because they're waiting for it to be perfect. You understand? Just do it. You'll learn while doing it. If you go back in some of my broadcasts, you'll see that, at least on Facebook, I have some of the silliest broadcasts 4 years ago because I didn't know how to turn my phone. I actually had to have someone show me how to turn my phone. And also, I didn't know how to upload to YouTube. I didn't have a young person to show me. And so again, if you're older, don't look at young people like they don't know anything. A young person, these are the waters they swim in. And so you turn to a young person and you say, hey, can you help me with my phone? And they just, they fix it like that fast. I'm grateful for that brilliance in all levels of age. So every age is special. Every age is unique and sweet and fun. And each one means something. And so don't let don't let yourself be that wall keeping you from having some fun or making a living doing what you love. Now, that being said, I want to tell you that you don't want to throw out the baby with the bathwater and start something completely new. Add your new thing, like ingredients in a soup or a favorite recipe. All right. So right now I'm wanting to learn how to paint. I've got so many artists, including Mark, that I've watched them paint and I'm just fascinated by how beautiful their work is. And you've all seen Jenny G on here. Her work is just so exciting. And so I want to learn how to paint. And right now, I'm just learning the processes of painting. And then I'm hoping that I will pull from myself my own artistic, fun silliness. And you'll be able to look at the work and say, that's Terri Hardin. Like you look at my sculptures and say, that's Terri Hardin, right? So that's what I want to have happen with the painting. And it's going slow because I've got the Rolly Crumbs chess set, as you know, and I want to get that done. So I'm working very hard on that. And I'm back and I'm looking at it and it's staring back at me saying, let's go. Let's get this done. So there are things that I want to do because of other people in my life, like Rolly, that I want to get done. But I'm also in the cracks of that doing this new thing called painting. And I spoke with my good friend Ron Kubala, who's part of Terri's tribe. He's another one. His paintings, really great. And I suggested to the tribe that they enter the charity event for the Chuck Jones Society for Creativity. If you haven't visited this site, you should. It's a great place for your kids to learn animation, and you can too. It's not limited to little kids. It's like my book. Everyone can be a part of it if they want to. Okay. But every year they have what's called the Red Dot Auction, based on the Red Dot animation. That, of course, was a Chuck Jones animation. And what it means is that bidders can come put a red dot on a painting of their choice, and $750 is then donated to the Chuck Jones Society. So this is how it's their fundraiser. So they invite artists. They send you out a canvas and you paint it. So Ron painted and I painted, and we both sold our paintings. And I had never sold my painting before. Before, nobody liked my paintings. And that's because I really didn't know how to paint. And I didn't know what kind of subject matter someone might like to give it a red dot. So I didn't win a red dot, but I did sell my painting. And I was very proud of it. I did birch trees. I took a class where you do palette knife painting, and I did birch trees. And I did Bugs Bunny peeking out of birch trees. So what do you say to yourself when you do something like that? Well, what you say is, I'm getting closer to what these bidders like to put on their wall. I analyze now that I took a class, I executed this painting, and this painting actually sold. It did not sell for the red dot price, but here it is. It did sell. So let me put me in the corner, and Connie, just gonna hide your comment for just a minute. And there it is. So it's Bugs Bunny peeking out from behind these birch trees, and it's called What's Up, Doc? And it actually sold. Someone got excited about it and really, really liked it. And I was very, very happy that they did that. So you don't always win. If you're one of those perfectionist people, you're not necessarily going to right out of the gate have a big win. Okay, there's going to be some failures, but fail forward. Analyze the failure, say to yourself, what failed, and then you just keep going and keep going and keep going. It's just so exciting. It's so exciting. While at the charity event, I happened to show Willie Ito, who's a good friend of mine, an amazing guy. He's getting ready to have a book come out. As soon as that book is available, I'll be telling you all about it. But try to follow Willie so that you can be the first to see that. And Willie saw I showed him, I told him I was painting, and I showed him my progress painting. And here's a painting. There's my second. Well, it's my third painting now because I stopped and did. But this is a painting about a sword master. So he's not a samurai fighter. He's not a sword fighter. He's the builder of the swords. And for years, ever since he was very young, he's been the master at making the perfect samurai sword. And he is a character very much sought after. If you have a title for this, help me, because sword master makes people assume you're like a Jet Li character in Hero, or you're Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, or you're Shang-Chi. It's not that. It is the craftsman who builds the sword with which they fight. And one of the things about these sword makers is that they've been doing it for thousands and thousands and thousands and generations, passed it down in Japan. So I wanted to edify this particular guy. This is actually an actor who is in a series called Zatoichi, The Blind Swordsman. And if you haven't seen that, you really are missing out. It's amazing. A series that was done in the 70s. So it's brilliant. It's really good. So good. But this fellow is in one of my favorite ones. So I wanted to use him. This is about portrait. I'm taking a class about painting a portrait, and this guy really takes you through the steps. I've got a couple of teachers who are really busting my backside. They really make me work. And unfortunately, because it's been October and because of the Rolly Crumb chess set, I haven't been able to finish these like I'd like to. Okay, so this one has been sitting here on my desk, looking at me lovingly, going, I know you're going to finish me at some point. I'm just waiting for you. And it's the same with my ink drawing. I've got a young teacher named Bryce Ko. He's Korean, and I'm taking a class from him. And he gave me a mission like a month ago, and I haven't even touched it, not because it's hard, but because I have other things I've got to do, and my job kind of dictates that first. But he's in my mind and my heart all the time. I watch that same lesson that he's telling me to do over and over again, and saying to myself, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. But because of him, he has pulled from me some art that I never thought was possible. He helped me with that book without knowing it. My illustrations in the book, my illustrations have gone way up because of him. And I'm so very grateful that he has helped me to grow as much as I have grown. And I'm just looking here because I was trying to find my my piece that I did with him, but I don't see it popping up. So I may have to just wait to show that to you guys because I don't know where it disappeared to. But my artwork was very simplistic before Bryce got a hold of me. Oh, here it is. So a lot of my artwork, this is a storyboard piece of art that I'm working on for a movie that I'm doing. So here's the simplicity of my art that usually I would do. It's Q and D, it's quick and dirty, but I usually do a pencil first, or I do it digitally. And then what happened is that Bryce got hold of me, and he insists that you do direct ink on paper. There is no pencil. You take that ink pen, you commit, which means mentally you've got to figure out what your theme is going to be, because once you put that ink down on paper, you're committed. And this can, if you're out there and you've never drawn before, and you have someone tell you to do this, your heart beats like a little rabbit, and you don't know exactly how to commit to that. But we started out with he had us do simple shapes, so I decided to pick the seashell, and I drew these in straight ink. And if you look, you can see that I have like little dots to kind of maybe map it out so that I can figure out, because I had never put straight pen to ink before. Okay, I just always do a pencil rough, and then I ink it, and then I erase away the pencil. I mean, or if you're digital, you have a pencil underneath, and it's like what the animators do. They use the Disney animators, blue, red pencil, work out the drawing, and then they ink it in. They don't ink it straight. So this can be a very intimidating thing to do. But I've been with his class for a very long time, and this is my latest piece. And I think you guys have seen this before. This is my illustration ability after him. And there's some mistakes in it. So this one here looks like a hidden Mickey, which must have been subconscious. And it shouldn't have been so dark, because I think people jump over and look at that first because it's as dark as the eyes. So if I was going to critique my work, I would say probably to lighten that up so that the focus is this fish who is unsuspecting his doom, and of course, doom behind him. But look, this is watercolor. I always hated watercolors because they were muddy, and now Bryce has taught me how to do this. So basically, what am I saying to you? Doing something new. Don't be perfect. Don't worry about being perfect. Have the attitude, the playful attitude of if you fail, you just move on. Okay, Bryce has given me some very strong critiques. He doesn't worry about who I am or where I come from. He critiques the art. And that's what I like to do as a judge on Outrageous Pumpkins. I look at the art and judge by the art, as does Mark. We want to judge by the art, and that's what we do on the show. And that's what he did for me, and I love him for it. I'm so grateful because my art is coming. Now I draw directly from my fingers, some things without a model. I still like a model. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I like having a model in front of me. So if I want to draw a pelican, I like to look at a picture of a pelican and draw it. But I'm incorporating my own illustration abilities that seem to be rising to the surface. I'm starting to interpret it my own way. So if you've seen Jenny G, she loves the hibiscus. Maybe she has or sea turtle. Okay, maybe she has a model of a sea turtle, but you saw how she interprets said model. She's not copying it, she's interpreting it into her style, as does Mark. You may have seen that beautiful pumpkin that he did at the top of Outrageous Pumpkins. That's one of his children. And that's his interpretation of how he sees his child, and that sort of, beautiful, magical, metaphysical kind of place. And it's adorable. It's just beautiful. So you can have a model. It's just how you put that model on paper. Are you going to copy that model, recreate that model on a pumpkin because someone wants that likeness? No problem. That's what you do in this industry, but when you're sketching and you're sketching your work, you want people to be able to see your work and say, that's a Terry Harden. That's a Mark Evan. That's a Jenny G. So I know that whole Connie thing exploded that, and that's why that got my mind going. It did indeed. I met George Takei at Little Tokyo, downtown LA. Isn't he a love? I actually spoke Japanese with him for a little bit. But yeah, apparently he said he was angry because they took Bill Shatner up instead of him. But, you know, my husband and I were talking about it. Sorry to make you watch me drink here. It's better to watch me drink tea. Anyway, tea time with Terry. But how much of that is just a fun, playful game to make news? You know, I never thought that he was that kind of, you know, I just look at George Takei and think he's wonderful. What do you think, Joe? I don't think he's that kind of person, but maybe someone who gets all cranky. I was envious. I'm not going to lie. The Green Monster, when I watched Bill Shatner go up in space, I wanted it to be me. I wanted to be me next to him going up. So I get it. My nephew met Shatner in the men's room at the fire academy in Huntington Beach when Bill was doing Rescue 911. Oh, I hope he didn't reach out and say, hey. Harrison Ford tells a story where someone did that to him and he was like, can I finish first? Yeah, that was fun to watch him go into space. I was touched when he was moved to tears. Exactly. Me too. Because that's us, Joe, isn't it? Wouldn't we be the same? I know I would be, you know, because it feels like a shoot for the stars, maybe I'll hit for the moon goal for me. And we all have them. You may think that I can hit any goal I'm after, and I want to believe what you think. But in reality, that's a goal that I am not so sure I'm going to attain, but I keep speaking that I will because I really want to do that. And you know, I love the what ifs. Yes, the what ifs are really something, aren't they, Catherine? Clever episodes, clever show. Very clever show. I doubt Walt would let tickets get insanely expensive as they are now. I doubt I'll ever be able to go to Disneyland. Yeah, Joe. Wow. Chapek seems to be about the dollars, doesn't he? Are you missing Bob Iger? Not that he's completely at fault for the tremendous hike in the price, but yeah, ouch. That is a big ouch, and I feel it, and I agree with you. I think Walt might have created something like, if you want to ride the rides, it's going to be one price, but if you just want to be in the park for a nice, lovely day to people watch or whatever, I think he would create a different price. That's what I think. Star Wars Disneyland is bizarre. Yeah, especially when you walk by the Hungry Bear, Joe, to get to Galaxy's Edge is just weird. Or going through Toy Story where they missed the mark in WDW. Somebody said, this is not my idea, but it's a great one, that you recreate the little pizza spaceship and you walk through the spaceship into Star Wars. Does that not sound incredibly like an obvious idea? We're so smart over here, aren't we? After the fact. If you're an Imagineer and you're watching and you've been through this, I get that it's not as easy as I'm making it sound, but it is bizarre. So I love what you do, and I'm grateful to you for the things you do. I'm very, very grateful for the Millennium Falcon, because being able to sit at that chessboard was another thing I didn't know I was ever going to get to do, and I just got real emotional when I got to sit at the chessboard, because the chessboard for me is what started me on my path to where I am today. So I get it. Exactly. He has been quoted, Disneyland will never be finished, but I believe he meant continued building, not tear it up. Yes, exactly. I agree, Bob. That's exactly, I couldn't have said it better, actually. What are your thoughts about the decade-long feud between Shatner and George? This is it, Leo. I don't know that it's real. I hope it's not. I hope it's not like the Hatfields and the McCoys. I hope it's just something that they do playfully because it's kind of fun for the press. In the beginning, it might have been real, but I'd like to think that now that they're older, it's just kind of a, tongue-in-cheek kind of thing. That's the way I'd like to think of it. If it's real, it's time to make up, guys. William Shatner said, on an interview that I watched that he wasn't being mean. And I didn't work with him on Star Trek, so I don't know. But what his statement was that because he was in 99.9% of the scenes, he really didn't have time to go out and socialize with the rest of the cast. He had to study. It was a very tight schedule, and he had to make sure he had his lines, and he was on most of the time, which we all know is the truth. But maybe he stated it like, I carry the show. So because I carry the show, I can't do that. That kind of sounds maybe to some ears a bit arrogant. That's just a misuse of words. Basically, if you are a lead character that's almost said it myself, that's constantly on camera, you've got, your line read is this thick while others is, like that. Let me do it like this thick, like that. Okay. So you got to study, and you got to be dedicated to the project. So I don't know how true that is. I don't know if that's real. You worked with them. If you worked with them on the set of Star Trek and you have a different feeling about it, but the point is that's in the past now. And wouldn't it be great for you guys to be friends before you go to heaven and get your wings? Okay. I just want to think that it's more tongue-in-cheek, playful. I hope it is. I hope it's not real, is my thought. And thank you for that question. Yes, the saucers. See, I know my stuff. I may not know all Disney because I've got all you guys and I kind of defer to you, but I do know what I like. And I do know that you would love it too, if you got the chance. I mean, really, not those ridiculous things, Luigi's, whatever, in California Adventure. No, that was a mistake. Like the first 3 Star Wars films, that was a mistake. Okay. So I'm concerned about what happened to what has happened to Frontierland. Yeah. When Frontierland involves, a shooting gallery and involves things that people are now like me, yeah, what's going to happen? I don't know. And again, I think they are worrying too much because Pirates of the Caribbean is about pirates. And as stated on the Zoom call yesterday, and I don't usually share my private Zoom calls with that the tribe says, but someone said something very profound, which was when they were a kid writing Pirates of the Caribbean, the motto was, this is what happens to you when you drink too much and you carouse too much. You're sitting in a pig pen hugging a pig that's covered in mud and you're thinking it's your girlfriend. So don't be this person. Don't be a pirate, basically, because these people are behaving badly. Not to mention that at the beginning of Pirates of the Caribbean, many pirates ended up dead with a bird's nest on their head or a crab coming for them. So basically, the morals were there, but people are looking at it from the wrong. These are called Pirates of the Caribbean, not pansies of the Caribbean. Okay. Pirates were not pansies. And when you read about pirates, they can be very scary. So, to change the attraction at the park, I think was a big mistake because this is what pirates did. Don't be that person. It's great, and I feel the same way with Splash Mountain. Now, my Splash Mountain opinion is a little bit different because I think the ride is a little tired. So it would be nice to have another attraction, but I'm not looking at it as racist. And I'm mixed, guys. I'm half black, I'm half white. So I was bullied. I was tortured. Yeah, it wasn't a great life for me either. But I think that Song of the South is great, and it talks to you about what you shouldn't and you should do. If you erase all of that, we have the possibility of repeating it, and I like it in my face. I like it telling young people this is not how you treat people, okay? Or Zippity Doodah is a great song. Maybe the backstory of it isn't. You see what I'm saying? So I'm not real thrilled with it changing because they want. If you want to make it Princess and the Frog, just make it Princess and the Frog. I don't think you need to, it'll be a great ride. Imagineers do great stuff. I look forward to seeing it. I think it's going to be wonderful. And I'm going to love it. But, you don't want to do it simply because somebody said, so yeah. Just my opinion, don't play with guns when you're drunk. things to live by. Excellent idea to preserve Walt's original ideas so the original magic is not lost in the changes. Exactly, Jeanette. Why? Because Disneyland is the only one. I say this to people every time. Disneyland is the only one that Walt walked. You can walk in Walt's footsteps, Disneyland Anaheim, because Walt actually walked Disneyland. I don't think you want to lose this. Personally, if you're a Disney aficionado, pop in the comments and let me know. But you don't want to lose that. Walt Disney World, he didn't walk there, nor did he do any of the other parks that have been created. And this is not a bad thing. This gives you guys, California Adventure 2, the freedom to imagine what Walt would have loved had he lived today, but do it in those parks so that people can come and see this darling jewel of a retro park. And Disneyland fears that if they leave Tomorrowland in the 50s the way Walt visioned it, with the Mary Blair mural, which is absolutely fantastic, that people won't come to see it. But how many of you go through Small World? Jiminy Christmas. I think that ride is so boring, but that doesn't matter what I think. It's one of the #1 attractions people go to all the time. And it's dancing dolls, guys. So I think Small World is a great example of you could keep Disneyland retro the way Walt saw it, and people would come from everywhere to see what Walt's vision was. How he went from concept to design to bam, how Disney happened. And have people that know the stories like you guys. Oh my gosh, I got to tell you that when I went to, is it Smoke Tree Ranch? And I heard the story of Walt going to his beautiful, lovely wife, Lillian, and saying, I sold the house, I'm building Disneyland. Okay, imagine you're a wife and you've got you have this amazing creative husband that sometimes, especially if you have one now, you're going, oh my gosh, another day of his creativity and I'm going to go mad. Just imagine her, Lillian. You've just set your home up. You've just done everything that you love about that house. And he walks in and says, I just sold it. We're building Disneyland. And you're like, what? You weren't going to talk to me about it? Nope. We're doing this thing. Okay. Hang on. And she did for a lot. She hung on to that man. I know she probably felt, she knew in her heart the job was dangerous when she took it. But I often think of her when I think of, there she is, honey, guess what? We're moving because I'm building Disneyland. What's Disneyland, honey? Whatever it is, I sold the house because I'm doing it. So yeah, wow. Wow. And I think those stories need to be told. And I think you need to understand that this is what can happen when you really see that vision. And many did not. So I don't think it should be lost. And I speak it a lot. If you were here, you were. It'll work out. Yes, indeed. Yes, says Catherine. That's also why lead actors and directors and producers have drivers. You have to. You have to have a driver. Yeah, you have to. But the below the line people that I've mentioned, they may not be able to have that luxury. So many can carpool, but what good is it if you're all working the extra hours? Yeah. I actually, when I worked at Mattel, it could be a very long drive because it was against the traffic. And so I hired my father to be my driver. My father and I got to visit and talk, and I paid my dad a couple of bucks to be my driver, and it was a godsend. It was absolute godsend. You should have claimed Shomer Shavos like Walter in The Big Lebowski. Joe, you're on today. Joe Penny is the most, that mind is like a steel trap, Joe. You're always coming up with the great stuff. This is my new Disneyland, the Academy Museum. It's amazing, isn't it? And the price is good. Be a member. It's great. It's really great. Yeah, I can't wait to see it. I'm excited about it. I've got a book that they sent me because I was an early member, and We're thinking about being charter members because this is all about us. We've been in the entertainment industry since we were very young, my husband and I. So this is a great thing that's happened. I'm really, really glad that they did this, and they did it where they should. Michael says, going to top my Disney Castle pumpkin from last year. Be prepared. I like the way you say that, Michael. And I can't wait. You better post it and tag me and tag us all so we can all see it, and I'll brag on you. Actually send me a picture via messenger, and if I have her permission, I'll pull it down and I'll show it off here. I'm very excited to see what you got. Carpenter knows how to do horror right. Yes, he does. I actually met Adrienne Barbeau while I was at a Photomat store years ago, and I asked her about her husband because she was starring in that movie, and I said, wasn't it fun to do that movie? And she was kind of like, eh. But she said he really was quite a talent. He really is quite a talent. And meeting him, I just said, please do another Fog. And he was like, yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. But I keep asking him because that Fog, another ghost story doesn't have to be the Fog, but I don't look at the Fog the same. You ever watch The Outer Limits? The Outer Limits where they take 6 square blocks, or it's 9 square blocks, put it on another planet, and that people go through the fog and it's aliens. Ever since a kid, I look at fog with a little trepidation. What's behind there? Because you never know. You're going to be on another planet, or you're going to see a bunch of killer ghosts. It's great stuff. It's great stuff. What about the Blacklight Ghost set? Its availability. I've got a lot of those available. So you can go to TerriHarden.com and click on online store and look at the Blacklight Ghost. The reason I have a bigger availability of those is I haven't been pushing those. I haven't been pushing. Step right up. No, the Blacklight Ghosts are gorgeous. And let me just show you what they look like so you can judge for yourself. But the Blacklight Ghosts are gorgeous. And I've got the illuminating ghosts are limited to 50. And the Blacklight Ghosts are a limited edition of 100. So I probably have about 70 of those left. They get made as people order them. We do not create them until they've been ordered. We may change that because if enough of you, if I pitch it to you and we pre-order it, then you may. But I have no problem, and neither does my manufacturer, especially with things that we've been going through. We're not feeling urgent because I've got D23 coming up where I can offer them, and I've got I'm hoping to get a booth there and offer them for sale there. But the illuminated ghosts are so close to being sold out that I would like to see them sold out, and then I can focus on the Blacklight Ghosts and the Rolly Crumb chess set and a couple of things that I've got coming out. This is a collision of stuff that's happening, I must say. Okay, so let me show you. Here is the how these ghosts look on the shelf illuminated, but then here's a little movie that you can see how the Blacklight Ghosts work. So here's how they work. It's an outside source, and when you put that outside black light on them, they change. So they're very beautiful non-black light, but then when you hit them with black light, they change, which I love. And they are more affordable, less of an investment than the illuminating ones. So the illuminating ones are your Cadillac, and this one could be maybe your Prius, or I don't know. These are about half the investment of the illuminating ghosts as far as price is concerned. And then of course we have the Haunted Mansion Ghost pin that I did for those of you whose budget is a little bit, you're just looking for a pin or something. You're saying to yourself, what I really would like to do is have something that's around, like a $20. So if I cut back to camera 4 and I put this on, this is what the Blacklight Ghost pin, which is $20 on my website. It glows in the dark. It's not blacklight, it glows in the dark, sorry. So that's it, glowing in the dark, and you can buy that as well. It's autographed by me if you buy it from me. I worked with Joshua Schaefer on that, but when you get it from Joshua Schaefer, it's not autographed by me. It does have the embossed autograph on the back. So you get the embossed autograph, but I also sign it live underneath if you buy that pin from me. So actually, it would be a good idea to bring some of those to the event on Sunday. I should do that. I mean, I don't want to bring you too many things. It's, too many decisions make a person freak out. But with the Storybook mansion being haunted, it might be good to have the Haunted Mansion pins. So I'll see about that. Okay. Good idea, Leo. Good idea. The Claw, it has chosen us. Yes. The Claw has so many levels of play. Deadly Mantis gave me nightmares. Also them. Oh, I love them. I love them. Oh, isn't it fun to talk these movies? Okay, so those of you who are looking for a Disney Imagineer to talk only Disney, well, you've already realized that that's not going to happen. But I have an eclectic things I love, and so that's why you can ask me just about any question. But them I love, and I met. See, this is my problem. Whitmore, James Whitmore. Yeah. I met him at an event and we had to ask him questions. It was a actors get to meet actors. And so he was making an appearance and people were asking him all kinds of questions. And he was getting kind of bored and tired. And finally he said, these questions are really boring. Does someone have some real good questions? And they came across my question about what was it like to film them. Now, Whitmore is the normal height guy. Then you've got Arness, who is very, very tall. He played the Thing that we mentioned earlier. So James Arness, super tall, Gunsmoke. And then you have Whitmore, and then you have Edmund Gwenn. And, Miracle on 34th Street. Don't get me started on Christmas movies till Christmas. But he was a tiny man, okay, about 5 foot plus. So in order to have them filmed all together, they put Whitmore on the actual ground. They put Gwen on a platform and they put Arness in a ditch. So next time you watch them and you see them kind of in relation to each other for the camera, realize one of them is in a ditch. That's Arness. One of them's on a platform. That's Gwen. And then Whitmore. So he starts to talk about his shooting of them. And I don't have time today, but ask me anything next week and I'll tell you the story of them and the stories he told. And then he turned to me and he said, thank you, Terry, for asking me a really great question. So you never know. Always ask the question, no matter how weird and no matter how off book you think it is, because many people were talking about other things that he did in his career. And I talked about them because was my wheel, my love. So, maybe the channel should be movies you should watch during the year, which I'm happy to talk about. Shelby, when you were doing Baby Sinclair, did you take inspiration reference with actual babies? Also, Beetlejuice is a favorite of mine. Well, that Lynette is a monster maker. The author of Giggling Pumpkins is a monster maker, and Beetlejuice was one of her top movies. Also, Sandlot and Mouse Hunt. And she played the character in Species, the swimming sequences. She didn't do the live action monster, but she did the live action swimming sequences in that movie. So in Beetlejuice, she did the one where they sort of pull their faces. Okay, so she built those and she did the outfits for those with an amazing animator and special effects stop motion guy named Ted Ray. And they worked together and she made like the little outfit. She did some amazing work on that. So if Beetlejuice is your favorite, I would go to LynetteEklundArt.com. I really should have that on a banner. I will fix that. Thank you for telling me that, Shelby, because she has done a lot as well. And she lives in Indiana. So if you happen to be back east, she does a lot of conventions back there. In fact, she's got one coming up in December. I can't remember what the name of it is, but she's going to do that one. And then she's doing another one in November where you can actually meet her, talk about the book, and talk about her work. So, yeah, she's also quite talented. Jurassic Park, she worked on building the Raptors. So, yeah, so she's a big one too. Jeanette, Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein really scared my young daughter and her friends. They were under the it's not one of my favorite. I do like what is it? My husband watches it a lot. The Don Knotts one, where he has to stay in the mansion. My husband loves that one. It'll come to me. I know you guys are thinking of it right now. The Ghost of Mr. Chicken. Is that it? Ghost of Mr. Chicken? Yeah. Anyway, that one is chilling. That scared me as a kid. And I love Don Knotts. I think he's one of the greatest physical comedians of all time. I never tire watching him. But yeah, Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, that was pretty good. My husband watches that one a bit too. Not one of my favorite, but actually very, very good. So I know how your kids feel. I remember when my young stepson, Ian, he was 6, and we saw Ernest Scared Stupid. Do you remember that one? A newer one. But he got to the point where he got so scared in that movie, he stepped up to the television and actually turned it off and said, guys, I'm done with this movie. I'm not watching it right now. It's got me, I'm too scared. I'm not doing it. And when you meet a kid like that, that's like super, like so smart, I would have never thought to turn that off. But he did. We went and we watched something a little more fun and upbeat. But Ernest Scared Stupid, if you've seen that one, that's really a scary movie for kids. So screen it first, because it's chilling. It's terrifying. He walked up at 6 years old. No, not doing it, and he's amazing. He's amazing. Is it a wonder that this guy has a PhD? This kid, this person, he's not a kid anymore, but I mean, he's a kid to me. But is it a wonder that he has this? Because at 6 years old, how many do that? He used to always fascinate me that way, because he was just a brilliant, brilliant child. I'm a creative child, not a brilliant child. The full movie of The Giant, I think, is what you were saying, right, Leo? The full movie of The Giant Claw is available on YouTube. Oh, they have the whole movie. Well, there you go. Go to YouTube and see this movie. Your children, you got little kids, 3 years old, want to see what a monster movie's like and not be affected in their dreams. Screen it first, because you know your children better than I do. But this is a movie I've recognized. When I was in Mattel, this was my number one recommendation to people who said, what can I show my child that's got a little bit of suspense, but also doesn't, terrify my child at night? This is a real good one. I remember thinking, because this young man that I told you about, scared, his name is Ian. Ian was watching Predator at 9 years old and finding the Predator not scary. So we showed him Dracula, Wolfman, Mummy, and Frankenstein. He was terrified. The difference being suspense. Okay, you guys that are getting these gore fests, it's not scary, it's gross. And so be careful if your child can sit through a movie that's like a gore fest as opposed to a movie that's got suspense. Screen it first, because it may, and tell them that if at any time it gets too scary, hit the remote, change the channel. You have the right to do that. I am Groot. Okay. Yes, I know. I kind of spent through it. I did that Groot for my friend, and it's now in his garden. So many of the movie sound studios are in Atlanta. How does this affect the people who work in the movies? Well, a lot of them move to Atlanta, don't they? My friend Greg Nicotero has an amazing house out there. He has a studio here called KNB for Kurtzman, Nicotero, and Berger. That's the 3 last names of the 3 men who created that amazing studio. And Greg, of course, is the director of Walking Dead. So this was a dream come true for him. He loves zombies. I used to do sculpting for him all the time. He's a real good friend. And his dream was to do zombies, and look what happens. Did he really think he was going to get to have zombies to the magnitude that he has now? Doubtful. But how lovely that he gets to. And he has a beautiful home with a theater and everything in his home in Atlanta, because that's where Walking Dead films. Do I want to live in Atlanta? No. But I'd sure like to visit him over there. It's also the home of Turner Classic Movies. If you like Turner Classic Movies, that's where they are. That is gorgeous. It is. Thank you. Thank you. They are crazy wild, aren't they? Have you seen the artwork of Batiste? No, I don't know if I have. Please show it to me. Tag me on it. I love to look at people's art. Michelangelo is one of my favorites. Will I ever be as good as that guy? One can only hope. That's what they used to have a price just for admission ticket book. Exactly. That's why I think that might be a way to go back to it in today's world. A thought. I mean, because we want to be, don't we want to not just complain, but be part of the solution if we can, which is why you're hearing that from me here. Okay. Yeah. That's why you're hearing it from me here. I'm checking the time. We are almost at 2 hours, so I'm going to be wrapping this up soon. If I miss your question, I will address it in the next Ask Me Anything. Next Friday is the 22nd, so we will be doing it because we're going to do the class at 1:00, so I can come and chat with you. So I think we'll still be doing it. So next Friday I can get to it. I think Disney should just sell Song of the South to someone else who can release it on Blu-ray. I agree. Buy it if you want to. Don't buy it if you don't. It's called Change the Channel. I mean, how many people of us really loved Rush Limbaugh? And if we did, we kept it on the channel, didn't we? And if we didn't, what did we do? We just changed the channel, right? Because we have that right. Okay? Free speech for them, our right to turn the channel and not listen if we don't feel like it. So that's my feeling. IP rights fully, then it's not on Disney if Song of the South DVD causes riots in the street. I don't think it should cause riots in the street. I think people want to riot. So stop blaming stuff. Come on, guys. Just be accountable. You know? The small world needs a loop. Joe, you're funny. Why do you think Small World in Florida missed the mark? No, my first thought, no Rolly Crump and no Mary Blair. And no Alice Davis. Yeah, that would be why it missed the mark. Because we had the blessing of Alice Davis, we had the blessing of Mary Blair, and we had the blessing of Rolly Crump. You can't, there's a trio, there's a trifecta. Win-win. Have to go. Really enjoyed your program. Have a great weekend. Yeah, we're going to, Bob. So we're right behind you, buddy. Good morning, Terry. I've been away in WDW. Yeah, Joseph, brag away. I received the Giggling Pumpkins book yesterday. It's great. You did a fantastic job. Thank you. Thank you for telling me too, Joseph. I really am glad you like it, and I'm glad it got to you. See, we really are. Gosh, I tell you not to try to be too perfectionist, but when it comes to the overall excitement of stuff, we want to make sure you guys get the full thing, the whole ball of wax. Bonami, yeah, really? Oh, hey Terry, do you know my friend from high school, David? He worked on HBO's Tales from the Crypt, Honey, I Blew Up the Kid, Terminator 2, and other movies. He later co-founded Blur Studios. It sounds really familiar, Joe. It may be that I know face more than human being, but it sounds like someone I would have crossed and you know, rubbed elbows with. Get that. Oh, see, all of a sudden Siri is interrupting. Do you guys like Siri? I'm just saying. Yuck. Anyway. Okay, guys, it is at the 2-hour and 2-minute mark. I'm going to sign off here. I will see you next Friday, AMA. We're going to try and get this down to an hour, but like most things, we're not just going to go, we're gone. We're going to slowly bring it into an hour. And then my Monday broadcasts, keep them more to 30 minutes because many of you are going outside and having a good time. And I don't flipping blame you. So I love you. Have a lovely weekend. Come see me if you can. I really, really appreciate that. Do something nice for someone else. It'll make you feel a whole lot better. Hit me up on Instagram. Go to TerriHarden.com. Join the tribe at Patreon/TerriHarden. You know where to find me. Find me, Google me, chat with me. I'll see you on Monday. Have a lovely weekend, everyone. And